Good Monday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Monday Market Outlook here at TOPGUN Options. I'm Matthew Buckley. My call sign is Whiz, the founder, CEO here at TOPGUN Options. Just sitting here watching Jerome Powell give an interview and then tank the market, which is pretty interesting. Just the market's a Fed market, folks, as I've told you repeatedly. At the height of the COVID pandemic, whatever you want to call it, I threw out about 30 books on investing and trading in a recycling bin, folks. I'll never forget that day. It's over. It's all it is it's bullshit, to be honest with you. But I'm here for it. Real quick, Full Throttle had a great time last week. We're done. Close the doors. Full Throttle is full. Still have some people asking about solo Amazon. So next Monday, October 7th at 10 a.m., I'm going to knock out a solo Amazon brief. You can head to go.topgunoptions.com/diversification. And it's funny that it's /diversification because solo Amazon trading the Death Star is the only stock you need to own. Diversification's for stupid people. I'm going to teach you that next Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, okay? And I'll be coming from beautiful Aspen, Colorado. We head down to Aspen later this week for the Aspen Flight Academy fundraiser. Going to be flying our No Fallen Heroes Foundation fighter jet into the airport at Aspen with an old Blue Angel in my backseat, Gucci Foley, who's going to be giving the keynote for the event. And then we're flying, I think as of right now, four No Fallen Heroes donors out in Colorado. So really looking forward to that. So this brief will be from the beautiful Rocky Mountains. Okay, let's go ahead and get airborne. This is an absolute disgrace, folks. TGO member Shrek. Why isn't the news covering Asheville, North Carolina? I just had a report from a friend's son who was a police officer in Asheville. He said they have nearly 200 dead. The morgues are full and they don't have power. Where is the federal government when they need the help? Where is the media coverage for this tragedy? Unbelievable. Well, here's my response. Democrats and the media destroyed George Bush for his initial Hurricane Katrina response. Remember that? Not a word out of them now because the regions are mostly Republican. I've actually seen some nutcases on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, celebrating the fact. This is God's way of paying back MAGA or something like that. Can you believe that? That's where we are as a country. A natural disaster hits. Zelensky leaves town last week with a bag full of $8 billion in cash. I haven't seen Kamala. I haven't seen Joe. Florida, the Big Bend area of Florida got leveled, and then Tennessee, Georgia, Kentucky, North Carolina, just places, neighborhoods, towns, counties gone. They just simply aren't there anymore. Where's our federal government, folks? Unbelievable. You can be damn sure if it was New Orleans again, man, Kamala and Joe would be jumping through their ass. Absolute disgrace, this hurricane response. Not a bug, folks. It's a feature. Same people who bring you this, right? Is it time to torch the Constitution? This is the New Yorker, folks, and I expect nothing less from the New Yorker, but there's still an old piece of me that still believes in this country and we're all Americans, we're in this together and I love you and all that stuff. And then they pound this shit into my face. Is it time to torch the Constitution? As a man who lost 16 people flying fighter jets, 3 suicides, who spent 15 years defending this country, I took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. You have people in this country now saying, maybe it's time to torch it. It's over with, folks. Elon Musk, I've been saying this for years, but Elon Musk finally agrees with Whiz. It's about time. If Trump is not elected, this will be the last election. Folks, I can't stand Donald Trump. I can't stand the man personally. I think he's a narcissist, all sorts of stuff. But in the battle of I look at policies, right? Democrats, I'm old enough to remember Bill Clinton, and I'm old enough to remember Democrats saying, we can separate the man's actions, his behavior from the Oval Office. Oh, you can. You can, but you can't, right? So I get what Elon Musk is saying here. It's illegal immigrants, folks. They've brought in tens of millions of replacement voters. I remember when Beto O'Rourke, that cuck from the most Mexican Irish dude I've ever met, when he lost his last, governor, Senate, whatever in Texas, he's like, no, we'll get there. We're turning Texas blue. We're just going to import all these people, register them to vote. So it's over with, folks. I agree with this. Elon Musk is finally agreeing with me. Kamala Harris wins. Chuck Schumer, they overturned. They get rid of the veto in the Senate, so that's over with. They'll pack the Supreme Court. Washington, D.C. will become a state. There's 2 new senators. Puerto Rico will become a state. There's 2 new senators. This will be one-party rule until my last breath, which hopefully is a long time from now. So the people claiming that democracy on the ballot is actually the party that's actually trying to end democracy. Did you see John Kerry this weekend? He's such a tool bag, man. I think it was the World Economic Forum or wherever he hangs out with his limousine liberals saying, oh, the First Amendment's a big impediment to what we want to do. You can't make that up. You cannot make that up. The party that was anti-war and free speech and free love and, anti-government has done a 180, man. Absolutely insane to me. Is it time to torch the Constitution? A lot of men and women in this country who served just want to be left alone. Just leave me alone. I want to live my life and be happy. And then you throw this shit in our face. You do not want to make the men who want to be left alone angry. And man, there is a lot of people getting angry. We could learn from Israel, man. They did not take shit from anybody. Almost, not yet, but almost a year ago, right? October 7th last year, in under a year. So they suffered their 9/11. Israel suffered their 9/11 on October 7th. In under a year, they have absolutely wiped out and destroyed their enemy, almost all of it, except Iran, and that's most likely coming. Gaza has been secured. Then they turn to the north, wiped out Hezbollah, man, and they're most likely going to do a ground invasion. I would think that the market's probably going to pull back on this a little bit. I think the volatility index is going to pop on this a little bit. We might have a port strike tonight at midnight. If we get a port strike tonight, we actually have a bearish double vertical that's going to print money. We are hedged. When I sign off from these briefs, it's not just a little cute sign-off tagline, folks. It is make sure you're hedged. We are. So we're hedged against war. We're hedged against a port strike. We're hedged against a lot of things. But let's contrast how Israel has dealt in under a year with their 9/11 to how we handled our 9/11. George Bush is an idiot. 15 out of 19 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. Let me say that again slowly. 15 out of 19 of the 9/11 hijackers were from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. What did Bush do? Well, I'm invading Afghanistan. Then what did he do? Well, I'm going to invade Iraq. 20 years later, over 20 years later, Kamala and Joe surrender to the terrorists. 20 years. We lost and surrendered to the terrorists. Israel in under a year, it fucking wiped them out. Over the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, the Houthis in Yemen launched and targeted strikes against our carrier strike group. A carrier strike group was attacked by Yemen. What did Joe and Kamala do? Nothing. The Houthis launched a missile into Tel Aviv. What did Israel do? They flew 1,800 miles and leveled power plants, leveled the port where the weapons from Iran are shipped into, absolutely decimated Yemen. Weakness invites aggression, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't hard. Wait, hold on, Whiz. You mean Joe Biden creepily leaning into a microphone and whispering, "Don't. Mr. President, what do you have to say to the Houthis or to Iran? Don't." That's our foreign policy, folks, is an octogenarian whispering "don't" into a microphone. But don't worry about it. I'm sure Kamala's got this all locked up when she becomes president. A week of shock and awe ignites China's stock markets. Did you listen to me last Tuesday, in the primary live trade brief? I told you to do what? Buy FXI with both hands. If you bought I have it on the screen from our brief this morning. You made 29% in a week if you bought FXI when I told you to. You're welcome. A 29% return in essentially a week and a half. Now, if you're sitting here going, wait, did I miss that? No. Look at the chart of the FXI. This is the iShares China large cap ETF, in case you don't know about it. I mean, we got down to a low here of like 21 on the FXI. Back in January of last year, it was a $54 ETF. You have the potential to double your money in FXI. We're going to talk tomorrow in the primary live trade brief about getting long-term bullish on FXI all the way out until January of 2027. Folks, things are awful in China. The economy sucks. Housing sucks. We don't have enough time left for me to map out how everything sucks in China. It doesn't matter. I told you about all the investing books I threw away at the bottom of the COVID market crash when Jerome Powell did exactly what China is doing. Trade the market you have, not the one you want. The market that exists in China right now is them jumping in with both boots to save everything, printing money, and guess what? Stocks are going to go up over there. Doesn't matter that they're all rotten underneath, folks. Again, one more time, trade the market you have, not the one you want. Now, if or when that runs out and that, Scotty in the engine room, I'm giving you all I got, market, I can't give you any more, and it implodes, I'm going to print money doing that too. So again, folks, at Top Gun Options, we print money up, down, or sideways. It's the last day of September. Our primary model portfolio is up 28 grand in a month. 1 month. Our S&P trades over 24 grand. Chipotle, 27. Some Qs. Starbucks essentially flat. How about year to date, this primary portfolio? 145. There we go. Some Starbucks profits. Starbucks 2, the Qs 26, Chipotle 56, S&P 500. $135,000. 6-figure return in the primary model portfolio, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely had a great time in September. Fed's Powell, who I'm looking at on TV, still talking right now. Powell says rate cuts can continue to support a soft landing. Everything's great. Look, I love the sub headline here. Central bank leader calls the economy solid. Everything's great, Whiz, solid. And we're going to keep cutting rates. What? Folks, when the Fed is cutting rates in, quote, a good economy, bad things are about to happen. I guarantee you. And we're ready for it. Amazon got a nice upgrade to 265. We talked about that this morning in our solo Amazon brief. Good stuff. We talked about Amazon. I did not pull the trigger like I told you in the brief. I said, hey, we talked about a bull put spread, maybe a weekly trade out to Friday. Let's go take a look at it. Unless I saw a solid turn down here at 1. Ooh, I said, don't do it, right? I said, I want to see a solid turn at 185. We did. It faded. That's a solid turn. So when I get off this brief, I am going to add this bull put spread. Be careful, though. And it's in here. It's in the hunters. Where is it? Right down here. Right there. There's the post. New weekly Amazon short calls and the bull put spread. So it's this one right here. It's the 182.5, 180 bull put spread. You missed out, folks, in full throttle. You would have gotten this trade on your app. You would have gotten an alert. And obviously, I posted it over here in the MAX Afterburner group as well. And I just fired a new Starbucks iron condor. It looks like Starbucks is, let's go look at that real quick, sitting in a range. Starbucks, about a month. Yeah, look at this chart. So the 100 to 95 range, it really looks like Starbucks is hanging in this range. So I just put on I just fired a bull put spread and a bear call spread to leg into an iron condor at Starbucks. So go check the Hunters thread and go check the MAX Afterburner thread, depending on the group that you're in. Okay. Big week ahead, though. Friday is what? Jobs numbers, non-farm payroll, average hourly earnings, and the unemployment rate. There is no chance on God's green earth you are going to see bad numbers on Friday. This is the last jobs number before the election. I'm old enough to remember Barack Hussein Obama running for re-election. I'm old enough to remember the jobs number that came out that October was it was insanely gross. I looked into this camera. I said, that's a lie. That's just physically impossible. Jack Welch, the former CEO of GE, said the same thing about minutes after I did. He's like, that's a lie. I guarantee that's a lie. Turned out it was a lie. So most likely you're only going to hear good news, folks, on these last numbers going into the election. You ain't gonna hear bad out of this administration. However, I am telling you, if at midnight they do vote to go on strike, the dock workers and stuff, look out below. That is going to impact the economy. And I think we're going to pull back down to this 20-day moving average here around 56.50. We're ready. Week ago or whenever it was, we put on a bearish double vertical on SPX. That's going to print money if or when this market goes down. And it should already be looking a little green here. Like I said, having a blast here at Top Gun Options. Full throttle is full. We're closed. We're done with full throttle until maybe the last quarter of this year. But you can always join solo Amazon. And join me next Monday from Colorado, October 7th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Head to go.topgunoptions.com/diversification. Okay? Have a great rest of your day. I'll see many of you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for the primary live trade brief. Fights on. Namaste and basi basi. Whiz out.